Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stratus Live's webinar today. Our topic is AI for social good, advancing the nonprofit sector. We are so excited to have all of you on this call today as we're digging into such a fascinating topic that we're all both within the nonprofit sector really digging into and trying to unpack the impact of artificial intelligence on our day-to-day work, and then also how that might influence what our organization as a whole does in incorporating AI-driven technologies at an organization level as well. So we're very thrilled to be having this conversation with all of you and very, very excited that you are here to join us on this call. So we are recording the webinar, so please stay tuned for an email that will have a link to the recording. We are also launching an ebook tomorrow that will talk a lot about the concepts in today's webinar. So you'll have that written material to refer to as well. Throughout the course of the presentation, if you have questions, please place that into the GoToWebinar control panel in the chat function. We will have time for questions at the end. We also are going to have a couple of polls throughout the webinar today. So stay tuned in if you'd like to participate in those. We'd love to have your feedback and interaction during this session, since this is such a topic of great interest. There's so much change happening within this space, so would love to hear your insights about artificial intelligence as well. So our presenters for today, we have Debbie Snyder. She's our Group Vice President of Marketing. We have Katie Wilson. She's a Digital Marketing Manager. Well, myself, Kelly Perry, I'm also a marketing manager. Andrew Bonsall, senior software engineer, and John Finari is also joining us on the call. He's our chief technology officer. As far as our agenda, we're going to start with an introduction to artificial intelligence for nonprofits. Then we'll dive a little bit more into the various benefits of utilizing AI-driven technologies, as well as applications, the tactics. How can you actually leverage AI into your day-to-day? How to get started. And then we'll pivot into more insider tips on how to use content generators, such as ChatGPT, for example. Andrew is going to give us a brief overview of Ignite AI and our latest enhancement to our Ignite platform, which is our content generator. Then John will talk a bit more about our AI roadmap and how Stratus Live is incorporating AI-driven solutions within our industry cloud platform. Then we'll conclude with the question and answer portion. So now we'll go ahead and launch our first poll for our webinar today, all about your current level of familiarity with AI in this space. So have you never heard of AI being used in the nonprofit sector? Then you're probably on the right webinar. If you've heard of it being used, if you're somewhat familiar with AI, if you are very familiar with AI, love to get your input on that. It'll help us better tweak today's presentation for you all and just have a good understanding of where you are in unpacking artificial intelligence. Seems like we're kind of even split. We can see the answers on our end here as they're rolling in, but I'll go ahead and close the poll and share those results with all of us. Looks like the majority of us are somewhat familiar with AI, so that's great. Hopefully we'll dig in a little bit more into this so that you all can even up your knowledge a little bit more. So thanks for that. With that, I'll go ahead and pass things over to Debbie, who will talk more about our introduction to artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, I wanted to talk just a little bit today to kind of level set so that we see people have different levels of familiarity with AI. And so let's just talk basics here. What an introduction to AI. So AI systems use algorithms and statistical models to identify patterns and make predictions based on data inputs. So AI imitates intelligent human behavior by learning from experiences and adjusting to new inputs. So What we should be aware, though, we all think it's the new cool thing going on. We should also be aware that AI really isn't new. It's just now entering mainstream society with more personal and professional use cases. Rudimentary AI, if you think about it, can really be traced back to early civilizations. They had devices that would ring a bell or write letters, and that's a machine performing a human task. So it is come a long way, and it's certainly the hot topic of the day, but it's not brand new. So all of these early rudimentary AI processes led to the development of computers and programming languages. So how does AI work from a layman's point of view? By mimicking human intelligence through these algorithms, systems can learn from data and improve over time. So some other terms you might hear that you might be wondering, what's the difference in these things? So machine learning, if you've heard that term, that teaches a computer or a machine how to make decisions based on experience or data. These decisions are made based on identifying patterns and identifying and acting on those patterns. So that's machine learning. There's also deep learning, which is a more advanced type of machine learning that uses artificial neuron networks to stimulate human brain's ability to process information. And finally, natural language processes, or NLP, is the science of making inferences from human language to communicate with machines. So you've probably heard some of that, and you might wonder, how does that fit into the overall AI scenario? So I think another thing that's important to remember, though, is all AI requires both data and human oversight. We're not saying that AI would ever replace the human oversight. And I think that's really important. And we'll touch on that several times through this presentation. So now that we know a little bit about what AI is, let's dig into the impact of AI on nonprofits. Kelly, can you talk us through that?
Sure. Thank you, Debbie. So over recent years, we've really gone through just some tremendous digital transformation, specifically within the nonprofit space. From during the pandemic, a lot of organizations were probably exploring online fundraising for the very first time. Those that had already put into place some of those online fundraising means actually were prepared and they were set up for success and everything went well and fine. Those that were a little bit more timid or hesitant to embrace these new forms of online fundraising perhaps had struggles during those few couple of years. So we're at another pivotal point within this space that artificial intelligence is another way that you can really impact and add a lot of value to the work that your organization is doing. And it's right now being seen as a tremendous, significant technological development. So what can you do? What is the potential impact of leveraging artificial intelligence on nonprofit organizations? And first, it can help you accelerate some of these daily processes, some of these day-to-day mundane tasks, whether that's data entry or gift acknowledgement forms. How can artificial intelligence accelerate those daily processes for you? Then perhaps how can you leverage AI-driven insights, digging into your data, your internal data sources, external data sources? How can it help you uncover strategic insights? That's another tremendous potential impact of artificial intelligence on nonprofits. And ultimately, this will allow you to have greater, more sustainable mission impact. So there's so much potential within this space, and we feel as if some organizations that we've spoken with, they're a bit timid, they're a bit afraid, they don't know how to dive into leveraging some of these technologies, but the benefits are so huge that it's important to at least consider it and think about different ways that you can implement some of these tactics within your organization. So with that, I'll pass it back to Debbie, who will talk a little bit more about these specific benefits.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, there's probably an unlimited number of benefits of AI to nonprofits, and more will be learned as we have more experience doing this. But we wanted to pick out 5 benefits that we see already with our clients that are very significant to nonprofits as a result of using AI. So the first one we have listed there is increased efficiencies. I would venture to say that most of you on this call today did not enter into this profession of nonprofit development because you love data cleanup, gift entry, and other mundane tasks. You entered this profession because you love working with people and allowing them to express their philanthropic passions. With AI-powered technology, you can automate many of these repetitive tasks so that you can focus on what you enjoy and do best. building relationships with your donors. These relationships are what are essential for your organization as they build trust, increase donor loyalty, and long-term support. These conversations that you have offline may then inform your AI systems about your donors' preferred communication styles and outreach tactics. These systems can then nurture your relationships through task automation. In addition to increased efficiencies, you can also decrease your cost of fundraising. No longer do you have to continue to send the same ask amount to all your donors without a response. AI algorithms can analyze donor behavior and preferences to suggest the best time and the best approach for a successful ask. Previous giving history, donor sentiment, interactions, engagement, and affiliations all form the ask, making your messaging personal, meaningful, and achievable for your donors. Now, you could do this manually, but it's a huge lift. You'll reduce the time, effort, and expense on unsuccessful appeals while demonstrating your key understanding of your donor preferences utilizing AI. A third benefit from using AI is increased fundraising revenue. We all want that, right? We know that it costs more to acquire a donor than it does to retain a current donor. So why not allow these AI-driven technologies to assist in both donor acquisition and retention? Uncover new donors through social listening and analytics by gathering and analyzing data from social platforms. By leveraging social listening with an AI tool, you uncover who is talking about your cause or organization, and you can engage with these donors that comment on these posts. You might even uncover influencers in these spaces and continue partnering with them on a campaign. To increase donor retention by identifying trends within your own internal CRM data, AI can drive personalized asks tailored to your donors' interests and preferences. Even piercing together data points that indicate a donor may lapse, triggering a personalized email reminding the donor of their impact history with your organization. This is a prime example of data analysis a human may be unable to identify. A fourth benefit is allowing you to perform more high-value work. As we discussed earlier, many mission-driven individuals do not enter their professions to do busy work. They enter their professions to drive meaningful change. By doing more with less or wearing multiple hats, nonprofit professionals quickly become overworked or burned out. A study conducted by Opportunity Knox indicated that more than half of nonprofit employees surveyed suffered from or were close to burnout. With AI-powered tools, nonprofit professionals can take back their roles by automating the routine tasks. This will lead to reduced stress, reduced burnout, and higher levels of job satisfaction and staff retention rates, a huge win for the nonprofit causes these professionals serve. And then last but not least, AI-powered algorithms can better serve your beneficiaries. By analyzing data from various sources, such as surveys, program evaluations, and social media, AI-powered algorithms can identify trends and patterns that suggest program updates. These updates may improve program outcomes in the long term. These algorithms may also be able to suggest personalized programs for an individual beneficiary. This level of detail will improve that individual's well-being and may encourage them to speak out on your organization's behalf. Finally, by using AI to deliver programs more effectively and efficiently, nonprofits save funding by not investing in poor-performing initiatives. These savings will allow nonprofits to scale their initiatives by expanding into new or larger communities, ultimately allowing their mission to spread. Now that we've talked benefits, Kelly, let's talk applications.
Perfect. Thank you, Debbie. So, how specifically can you leverage AI within your fundraising and donor management operations? So in this portion, we're going to talk a bit more about some of those functions. And that first bucket we'll talk about is regards to prospecting. So within prospecting, you're leveraging predictive analytics that your organization is using constituent data for overall maximum impact. So what predictive analytics does is it's analyzing internal and external data sources and recognizing trends and patterns that might indicate future donor actions. So in Debbie's last slide, she's talking about saving a potential lapsed donor. That's the potential of predictive analytics. It's picking up on donor actions that may indicate that this donor is not going to give. And it's allowing you the opportunity to step in and ask and remind them of their impact so that this potential donor does not lapse, so that you don't lose this donor that you worked so hard to cultivate and get into your systems. So what are some other examples of prospecting that you can leverage AI-driven technologies for? Can also help you identify donors that are most likely to give, or maybe give at an increased or more frequent amount. Based upon this data, AI may even suggest a specific strategy that can engage these donors. Maybe it will even schedule a meeting to discuss this opportunity. So not only is it identifying the specific donors that you should target, it's also setting in stone a tactical plan for you to get those donors to convert or engage. Another example might be uncovering donors who have given to a related organization, or maybe they've demonstrated an affinity towards your cause and can help you loop them into your systems so that you can begin to cultivate them. Another great example within prospecting, within predictive analytics, may help you develop a list of donors who are on track to become a major gift donor. Another great application, donor segmentation. So using data that you have collected in your CRM, maybe that's constituent demographics, psychographics, transaction and response history, other third-party data, AI can help you organize these donors based on these common attributes. And by identifying these unique patterns, your organization can easily maintain and develop a targeted campaign to drive engagement. So we wanted to have an example here. Let's say you're an environmental conservation organization. You've identified that donors between the ages in 30 to 45 have an affinity towards your programming that is combating environmental threats. Perhaps there's some new legislation that's come out that might potentially impact your progress in this area. Let's say your AI intelligence can trigger an outreach campaign to those donors based on this data. So you're engaging them in real time about an issue that is important to them, that is relevant to them, and it's allowing you to engage them and bring them to contribute to your organization. Donor communications, this might be one of the most practical examples right now, most understood use cases of AI, as we're all becoming more familiar with tools such as ChatGPT. So using natural language processing, these content generators are producing written or multimedia content based on the inputs that you give them, whether that's keywords, content length, or even sentiment of the communication. So that's allowing your marketers, your communications teams to rapidly produce content. If you want to take that to the next level, perhaps you utilize a content generator that's informed by other AI-driven tools that will allow you to customize your messaging based on unique data points. Maybe that's accommodating for tone, donor intent, their preferred communication style, maybe even cadence. So that ensures that you're sending the right amount of messaging at the right time without tuning off your donors, or maybe they would unsubscribe if you didn't think through some of these elements. Another great application, online giving. So with AI-driven technologies, you can personalize the online donation experience, maybe based on currency, maybe based on language. And what that does, it's reducing the donor's barrier to give. It's helping increase your online conversion rates. If they're accessing these pages in the language that they're used to speaking, or a language that they might be even more comfortable with, they're going to be more apt to donate. You don't have to develop landing pages in multiple languages. You don't need to hire perhaps a translator to do so. It'll make it easier on the donor. Another great way of leveraging AI on online donation pages is through chatbots. How about having the ability for donors, if they have questions about your organization's mission, vision, how their donation might be used, they can plug those questions into a chatbot that'll respond to them immediately. Again, reducing the barrier to give. And also, it's providing you with great insight into what's top of mind for your donors. What are their concerns about donating to your organization? This might inspire future content for your nonprofit. Maybe it's a frequently asked questions page or a blog post that will address some of their concerns or common questions. So beyond individual giving, we can talk more about, grant writing. This AI-driven technologies can supercharge this process. You can leverage previous proposals, maybe programmatic data, the requirements of the funder, and these content generators, chatbots, they can generate these grant abstracts, summaries, tactical plans, and even these proposed KPIs to help you track your progress. Then your organization can maybe apply for even more grants. Grant writers can focus on researching these grant opportunities, analyzing the data, or even building relationships with your grantors, with the organizations that are funding your organization. And finally, we have to talk about fundraising and reporting. You don't know if any of these AI-driven technologies are impacting your metrics if you're not reporting upon this. So by having access to your CRM data, your online engagement data, other third-party data sources, AI systems can analyze this data to uncover specific trends at the donor level and at the campaign level. If you want to level this up, these AI systems can even help develop visual representations of the data to help clearly represent these trends and findings. But we must remember, at the end of the day, your team, your leadership has to decide which fundraising metrics are most important to you based upon your unique goals and your mission. So AI can guide you in the right direction, but you yourself need to decide and prioritize what's most important to you. So we did want to take the time to launch another poll based upon these various applications that we have listed on the slide here. Curious to hear from our audience about what AI application do you think will add the most value to your nonprofit organization? Is it prospecting, helping you uncover new donors, segmenting your donors more effectively? Is it helping you generate more content? Online giving, helping streamline that process for your online givers, the grant writing process, or fundraising reports, helping generate those more quickly and more seamlessly. So we can see some of the results on our end. I'll go ahead and close our poll and share those results. Looks like the mass majority here say prospecting and donor segmentation with yes. That's a tremendous use case, helping you kind of whittle down your large potential donor pool and help you segment and provide more strategic outreach to your donors. So really appreciate everyone's feedback on the poll there. And with that, we're going to go ahead and pass things back over to Debbie about how to get started with artificial intelligence with a data health check.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, we've talked a little bit now about what is AI. We've talked about the impact and the benefits. We've talked about applications. So maybe you're sitting there getting very excited thinking, I would love to do more of this. How do I get started? So we wanted to talk just briefly about that. And as Kelly said, one of the things that we recommend strongly is before you get started executing any AI-driven strategies, you need to have a clear understanding of your database health. If you don't trust or understand your data, you should not use AI to act upon that data. So consider conducting a database audit with the goal to fix any inaccuracies and validate your data. Look at formatting inconsistencies, duplicates, or missing data. Delete accounts and contacts that have no real viable data. Then take a step back further and evaluate how many databases you have. More than one can lead to naming inconsistencies and lack of understanding. With one source of truth or one database of record, your team can trust the data is complete and accurate. And then beyond evaluating your internal data sources, also take a look at your external data sources, such as wealth profiling or data verification. Ensure that these sources harvest data according to your organization's own privacy standards and procedures. Speaking of standards and procedures, your organization should consider developing an AI code of ethics to provide clarity to your stakeholders about how you plan to leverage AI. So we're going to move on and talk about that for a moment. Katie, will you take us through that, please?
Thanks, Debbie. Ethical considerations in AI is one of the hottest topics within the industry, for good reason. By developing an organizational code of ethics, you provide guidelines to staff who may be confused or even afraid by leveraging AI within their day-to-day. Let's start with your organization's purpose or ethos for using AI. Maybe this is to explore these technologies to amplify the human nature of your work. Then you outline the following components we see on the screen. First up is terminology and KPIs. Provide details on the specific data that will be used to power AI technology. That could be donor data, program data, etc. And the process that will be impacted, for example, recurring gift cultivation, but not major gift cultivation. Also discuss the KPIs that you will implement to determine whether utilizing AI to power these initiatives is working or not. Next, we have guardrails. We'll develop some safety protocols to keep risky AI functions in check. These may include fictitious images or audio designed with the purpose of tricking the viewer. Your organization does not want to utilize this content nor make strategic decisions such as donor segmentation based off of fake insights. And of course, infuse the human element. Giving is such a personal experience that cannot solely be influenced by a robot. We all know this. The purpose of your AI usage will alleviate this concern. Your marketing and development teams may need some of the greatest oversight when incorporating AI. Encourage these teams to leverage the systems while also leveraging their own gut instincts from having personal and real conversations with your donors. How can you ensure these disciplines keep your brand in mind? And we'll go to our next slide here and kind of talk about some of this. If your marketing staff uses content generators to assist in creating content, you must review the output to make sure it aligns with your brand message. Your donors are smart enough to pick up on language that doesn't match other content. Coach your marketing staff to leverage brand guidelines and keywords when prompting. This will ensure some messaging consistency. You can even make yourself a template so you can include these guidelines within your prompts each time. And really that's along the same lines as number 2 we see on the screen. Develop a cheat sheet. Write those key guidelines and ethos down, and it's really going to help keep that brand consistent. Next up, we have this option to elect internal AI SMEs or a committee, task force. These individuals may drive the completion of their code of ethics. This person should also stay on top of the latest trends within the AI space so as to keep your organization in check and alter the code where they see appropriate.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Finari. I'm the CTO here at Stratus Live. I just wanted to take a moment to discuss some of the exciting new capabilities and use cases that you can anticipate seeing in our platform over the coming months. Before we get to that, I think it's important to delve a little bit deeper into why these developments are significant. Stratus Live has continuously positioned itself as a pioneer in technological innovation within the nonprofit sector. From the inception of our organization, innovation has always been at the heart of our core values, alongside integrity and excellence. Over the past decade, we have consistently been at the forefront of significant platform shifts. As one of the pioneers in offering comprehensive cloud-based solutions for nonprofits, we have a proven track record of embracing and adapting to new technologies. From constructing immersive online experiences that function seamlessly across mobile and all other devices, to developing a real-time, fully integrated platform that serves both constituents and back office operations, we've consistently showcased our ability to lead in innovation. Now we are at a juncture where artificial intelligence, or AI, is emerging as perhaps the most transformative technology since our company's inception. Understanding the potential of this technology, we are diligently working to integrate AI into nearly every facet of our organization. Our ultimate aim is to empower our users, donors, partner organizations, and the communities we serve, providing them with the means to harness this cutting-edge technology. In doing so, we believe we can facilitate greater impact than ever before. So with that said, let's take a look at some of the enhancements that are to come. Number 1, content creation. This gets around to the generative content sections. So those of you who are familiar with our Ignite page builder, This allows you as the user, and Andrew's going to demonstrate this, to go in and create generative content. So basically you can construct what it is that you're looking for and allow the AI to basically generate headings, generate content body, generate HTML, and really just build out kind of far more capable content pages than you've been able to do in the past. After that, we're looking to add generative media. So this gets into images and video. We're working with a couple different solutions that are out on the market right now, and really just trying to get it where you can basically do the same thing. Instead of generating text, this allows you to generate pictures. We already have a media gallery within Ignite, but this would allow you to basically specify certain things that you may not have access to on hand and have AI generate those images that you can use directly into your content pages. And then finally, at a kind of higher level and not quite as granular as these other two, generative campaign creation and social media postings. This allows you as a nonprofit administrator to basically have AI compose and build out campaign strategies. So this gets into actual content pages, social media postings, email templates. So it's kind of more holistic instead of very granular levels. It's at a higher level. But we feel this will enable you to do far more at a very rapid pace and just allow AI to do that for you. After that, we're looking at giving levels, configurable, personalized, AI-driven suggested giving levels based on donor profile. We feel with our rich donor profiles that we built over the years, we're kind of in a unique position to really get those ask amounts within range of what the individual user has capacity to give. We would certainly allow configuration for those on how aggressive you want those ask amounts, but leveraging a lot of, we've got a lot of data and parameters that could be passed in. Of course, everything would be anonymous from a data security perspective, so no personally identifiable information would be used here. But that should help with hopefully increasing your fundraising asks. And then finally here, summaries. This gets into AI-generated engagement summaries. So basically all of the various activities that are happening across the platform. What we would look at here is providing kind of summary trends or analysis on performance based on your organization's historical performance, but also looking across kind of the whole breadth of the platform and the Ignite ecosystem. Comparing with other nonprofits or like campaigns, and we'll kind of dig in more on how we plan on using that information and here in the next slide. So moving on to the long-term roadmap, these are kind of more categories or larger areas and not specific features, if you will, but these are three of the areas that we're really targeting here over the long term. Personalized experiences is a big one. The idea here is we take AI and match it up with our real-time data services that we've built within the Ignite architecture and really personalize the engagement experience. So we got all the rich data for those of you who are using our CRM solution and really trying to personalize all the engagement experiences, but also particularly with the donor hub, which is really a personal application that allows them to get access to all of their history, all of their donor profile. But the idea there is to use AI and really surface any kind of information or events or news about your organization that is pertinent to that particular individual. Chatbots and AI assistants is another area, especially within the context of Donor Hub. It's really just another communication medium where the donor can ask particular questions and maybe get at data, instead of going through screens. It's just really a new way for them to interact. Of course, we would probably limit how far that would go, and it would only be certain pieces of data that you would configure to allow them to access through these chatbots. But we think there's a lot of good utility in what's possible there. Moving on to the AI nonprofit assistant. This is really targeted at is used in nonprofit fundraiser or event planner. And these are just kind of like built-in suggestions, using a lot of that trend analysis and data that we talked about before on how you can go about increasing fundraising and participation on the platform, and basically have the AI kind of suggest things that you may want to do or optimize, based on patterns from data on the platform. And then finally, predictive analytics. AI can obviously analyze large amounts of data to identify potential donors and understand their interest, capacity to give, and likelihood of giving. The idea here is we would use some of the capabilities that we have in our analytical marketing and our analytics solutions, and basically allow the AI to provide different segments and really find the donors who are kind of matching the campaign or solicitation that you're putting together, and segment that data in kind of a unique way. So I think that's all for that. So in conclusion, we're excited about this opportunity to empower our customers with these new capabilities, and we look forward to partnering with you to use this AI for good.
Demo of Ignite here, and some of the AI capabilities that we have built into it. Just real quick for anyone who is not aware of what Ignite is, this is our all-in-one social platform for giving. It has a lot of different features and functionalities on it. Just a quick brief overview, you can set up donation pages, you can create events such as walkathons or volunteer events, you can do all kinds of fundraising, lots of cool stuff, right? And this right here, I'm working on an event. This is one that I made specifically for this demo, just for you guys, to show you guys some stuff here. And if we move over to our page content, this is a web page that will be generated for you. We've kind of made a quick little one here for you guys just to look at. And if we open the page designer, we can start to see some of the real power of the AI. So right now, in this web page, we have a heading, right? Community walkathon, kind of a bland and generic. We can update that using the power of AI. We have this little robot icon here. After I click into this text content, I'm able to access this robot icon, and this will launch my AI content generator. We get a modal window that asks you to provide just some instructions. Just any text you really want to put in here is fine. And since we're doing a walkathon, we can do one for some cancer support. Like if we do this right here, organization that supports caregivers of family members with cancer, we host an annual summer walkathon. So this is going to create a heading for us, like we saw we were in the heading area there. And if we click generate text, pretty much the magic just happens for you, right? Join our summer walkathon and support caregivers of family members with cancer. Join our summer walkathon to support cancer caregivers, right? Pretty simple stuff. We can choose any of these. This one is a real quick and simple one, but if we want to do something a little bit longer, this is also available pretty much anywhere that you can add text to these pages. You can use this capability. So if we want to actually generate what we call a long form copy, or maybe a donation appeal or something like that, we can do this as well. I will feed it the same prompt, and I'm going to say, yeah, 3 paragraphs is pretty good here, right? This would be a good meaty page. And we can hit generate text. And then obviously, since this is a little bit longer, it does take a little bit longer to generate, but the AI should do a pretty good job here of giving you something to at least work with, or if not, completely do the job for you, essentially, to create a couple of paragraphs that describe, what your walkathon's about, that kind of thing. And this is using that natural language processing that we had talked about before. So it understands what you're saying over here in this, and it generates a response based on this text and based on these items over here that we have for you to choose from. So just real quick, I don't want to read the whole thing, but every day thousands of families are affected by a cancer diagnosis. It's difficult time for both the patient and their family, and navigating the emotional and physical challenges can be overwhelming. Our nonprofit organization is dedicated to easing the burden of caregivers who support their loved ones, right? This is pretty good, right? This is pretty much exactly what we wanted. So we can go ahead and add that to the page. There's also, right, there's 2 other suggestions that it also gave for us. We could do that as well. But before I add anything to the page, I just want to briefly talk about everything that's over here. So this box right here kind of works if you've ever used ChatGPT or any other of these like OpenAI or AI type of technologies. You can just type into it just like you would naturally speak, and it will pick up whatever you're trying to whatever point you're trying to get across, and it will do what you tell it to do, essentially, right? We have kind of geared this one towards you should be the AI should be working to generate content for a web page for a nonprofit, so it kind of has that to go off of. But if you just give it any simple description of what you want to generate, it will generate this. And then you can get different types of output format. We have plain text and HTML. Depending on your technical level, you might want to do HTML so that way you can do some custom styling or make it look a certain way after the fact that it's generated. You can change content type, right? Maybe this is a heading, subheading. This is long form copy, donation appeal. You want to get some fundraising or event invitation. You can control the content length. We essentially give you a quantity, and you can say sentences or paragraphs. You're able to fill in your organization name here. So like if I was part of the United Way of Southampton Roads, or maybe, Susan G. Komen or something like that, I could put that in here and it would make sure to put that into this content. You can change your readability level, so you can make this applicable to pretty much everyone with the beginner in general, or if you need to be more academic or technical, you can refine it that way. We do also allow you to you can tell it that you want to optimize it for certain search engine key phrases. That's what these allow you to do. And then this is like, how often do you want these key phrases to appear inside of the text that's generated? You can also choose a marketing copying framework. If you're familiar with these, like this one is the Attention, Comprehension, Conviction, and Action framework. And these all follow specific guidelines. So when you choose one of these, it will follow those guidelines for that marketing copy framework. And you can also choose like a different mood. You can put your own custom mood in there as well. So we have the ones we have here are casual, formal, humorous, serious, upbeat, and urgent. But that is about all I have to show you guys with the AI text generation that we have. And we plan on having more in the future. But right now I will switch this back over to Kelly and let her continue on.
Thanks so much, Andrew. We appreciate you giving us the overview of Ignite AI. We're very thrilled about incorporating this new technology into our Ignite platform. So excited for you all to have a peek into that. And we did have a couple of questions come through related to the technology in particular. First, we had a question from Natalie. Is Stratus Live a CRM, or is it an AI tool that can work with or supplement current CRM? And I think, John, if you want to address that one.
Sure, I can take that one. Yes, so our product, and what Andrew was just showing there was showing the Ignite product. We also have a Give It Work or corporate social responsibility solution. And then we also have a CRM solution. And of course, everything is fully integrated within our suite. So the Ignite and the Give It Work are really for online giving and engagement, volunteer, do-it-yourself fundraising, event, basically anything that your donors or constituents can do online. And those are built to run with or supplement or run beside or any CRM. So the best experience, of course, would be with our CRM, but they can also run with other CRM solutions without issue. As far as like the AI capabilities, so a lot of the content generation and things that you saw today in the demonstration and things that we've talked about on our roadmap, a lot of that will be available in Ignite. Some of the capabilities that we really didn't get into in this conversation with our CRM, obviously you wouldn't have access to those, but yeah, so the short answer is yes, they can work.
Perfect.
Beside your CRM.
Thanks, Natalie, for that question. Then another one we have from Cindy, does the Ignite AI roadmap apply to Give at Work as well?
Yeah, so there's a number of things that we're looking at on the Give at Work. Definitely the content generation demonstrations that you saw here. So yeah, much of the roadmap that we're looking at, we're looking to also add support for within Give at Work. That's a big portion of some of the things that we're looking at. Can't think off the top of my head of anything that would be excluded. So yes, the answer is yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Cindy. If anyone else has any other questions or comments, please feel free to put them into the questions panel, or if something comes up after the fact, our email address is up on the screen now for you all to reach back out. Would love to talk further about artificial intelligence, how you all are incorporating AI within your day-to-day. How are you looking at technology providers that have AI-driven solutions, and how that might amplify or augment your current work. But we are very grateful that you spent this 45-ish minutes with us today and dug into this topic with us. We will be following up with the recording within an email, so feel free to share that with any individuals that couldn't join us today, those on your team. So without any other questions, I'll go ahead and close this out. And once again, thank you all so much for joining us, and hope to hear from you all again soon. Bye-bye.